Hey everyone, Ram from Mozaik UW Cameras here. Today at Mozaik we have launched the Redive project, which is an Instagram challenge that we created in order to promote the diving industry, which has basically come to a halt and finally coming back slowly and carefully post COVID-19. So during this challenge, every day people from around the world are going to be sharing their underwater photos of different marine life, and every day we will have a different subject. Now, during these 2 weeks, I will also give you my personal tips on how to shoot better photos of the daily subject. So in the end, hopefully all of these tips will be joined together in our blog to something we call the ultimate guide to shooting marine life, and then you will be able to access all of these tips in one single blog post. So today the first subject is actually Blennies, and Blennies are really one of my favorite subjects by far underwater. They're cute, they're photogenic, they're super friendly to take photos of, and I just can't get enough of them. So without further ado, let's go to the first tip. And first of all, my first tip is that Blennies are everywhere. Literally, I dive quite a lot in the Caribbean, and here the Blennies are literally everywhere, and you can find them in pretty much every coral if you know where to look. But around the world, in most places around the world, you can probably find Blennies as well. And the thing is that once you know how to find them, once you know how to find their little burrows, and you can look for their little faces, then you will probably be able to find them much better. So all you need to do is look. Now when you're shooting a Blenny, then you want to focus on the eyes. And this is true for pretty much every marine life subject, but especially for Blennies, you want to focus on the eyes. First of all, because the eyes are going to be a dark dot in the middle of the face, and that's going to help the camera focus. And also because obviously the eyes are the most important part of any living subject, so you do want to focus on the eyes. Third tip is try and catch them out of the hole. Now, of course, Blennies rely on their little holes in order to survive against predators, but sometimes, depending on the species, of course, they do come out, and finding a Blenny outside of their hole is pretty cool. You can see their long, nice body, and it's a much more interesting shot than the regular Blennies that we're used to seeing. Even Blennies that are inside a hole right now, then once you start shooting them, they might kind of pop out of their hole for a split second. And if you're able to take a photo exactly at that moment, you'll get a really cool shot of their entire body. Next up is filling the frame. So you really want to try and fill your frame with the face of the Blenny. And to do that, you're probably going to need a dedicated macro lens, or if you're using a compact, for example, it might be a diopter or macro lens or close-up lens, whatever you want to call it. And using that, you will be able to probably fill the frame with the face of the Blenny. And the great thing about Blennies is that they let you get that close. So even if you have a very short working distance when you're shooting with a compact and a diopter, then you will be able to get close enough in order to fill the frame with the Blenny, and probably he will let you shoot him. Now the fifth tip is to try and stabilize yourself. I know it's pretty difficult, especially when you're floating mid-water. It's not the easiest thing to stabilize yourself. But if perhaps the Blenny is hiding in something that is man-made, maybe a wreck of some sort, or maybe there's a big rock right next to it that he's hiding close to or next to or inside, then if you're able to grab something and simply stabilize yourself with 2 fingers or just your thumb and 2 fingers, that will be a huge help in focusing, in getting the nice composition and being able to access the subject. So that would really help. So really try and stabilize yourself if possible without harming marine life. Of course, that's top priority. And then the last tip is for Blennies, they also rely on camouflage in order to survive again. So our duty as photographers is to try and emphasize the subject as much as possible. So to do that, all you have to do, especially with the Blenny, to do that, all you have to do is simply position yourself slightly to the side of the Blenny. Instead of shooting right from above or from in front of it, you can position yourself on the side, and then you'll be able to capture the head of the Blenny, to separate the head of the Blenny against the water column. And that's probably going to be either dark black or like dark blue or even bright blue, whatever it is, you'll be able to separate the head of the Blenny from the background, and that's going to create a much nicer photo. So that's it for Blennies for today, and I urge you all to join the Redive project and share your best photos on your Instagram. All you have to do is tag Redive project, and you can also add by Mozaik UW Cameras, which is our profile is UW Cameras, and we hope to see your photos soon. Take care.